Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! You guys are some of the sweetest fans in the world. I honestly believe that, because last night I put out a video wanting 50,000 likes and 50,000 subscribers, and I woke up this morning with 5 people having hit my subscribe button at random. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you've shown this YouTube channel. While 5 subscribers may not sound like a lot, or seem like a lot to a lot of people, because I know I have big-time YouTube creators who are always uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies, but their YouTube channels are far from as cool as this YouTube channel, because this YouTube channel has such an incredible reach. So because I created this YouTube channel, it is touching the hearts of so many wonderful people. That has become very apparent to me, that I'm touching the hearts of so many wonderful people because of this passion that we all share in because of Descendants of Zombies. And I just want to say that it's the greatest honor of my life knowing that I've created something special for everybody who grew up with Descendants of Zombies, because that's the reality of life now. It's Descendants of Zombies or die, which means we all grew up with Descendants of Zombies, or because Descendants of Zombies holds a special place in all of our hearts. For me, for those of you who have been subscribed to this YouTube channel for forever, I have the biggest crush in the world on Ruby Rose Turner, and I'm in love with that character because of how kind she is and how she exemplified how much kindness can really touch a person's heart and how much further kindness can go and take a person in this lifetime. Because we only have one life to live, and because time is always elapsing in an hourglass, that's the way I like to put it into perspective. It's all about how we spend the time that we are allocated. We can spend the time that we are allocated just, minding our own business, or we can spend the time that we are allocated by telling people we love them, spending more time around the people that we call our best friends, and sharing the moments that make us Descendants of Zombies fans, because some of the most beautiful friendships of all time have happened because of Descendants of Zombies. I've seen this with my own 2 eyes. I used to look after a group of girls years ago who were probably 7, 8 years old at the time, and they bonded over Descendants of Zombies. 4 or 5 of them got together in a group, and believe you me, they're still the best of friends to this day, and they're like in their 20s now. So it's really hard to believe, I know, that Descendants touched our hearts over a decade ago, and a decade's passed since Descendants came into our lives. But I think more people are thankful that Descendants came into our lives and was able to touch our hearts than we ever give it credit for. Because I believe 10 years from now, Descendants is going to be honored as one of the greatest casts of all time. There was always an argument about what was the greatest cast for a kids' TV show that had ever been assembled and brought together. And Victorious was always at the top of that conversation. Victorious, Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place. But I think this cast stands in a category of its own. It stands in a class of its own because of how it's prided itself on the passion and the dedication that goes with bringing this franchise to life. But even though this cast has prided itself on the dedication and the passion that brings this franchise to life, and this incredible cast made up of Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, who I am head over heels in love with, I think that what's really given this franchise meaning and given this franchise life is each and every one of you, and that's proven out to be more evident than ever before since this YouTube channel appeared on YouTube for the first time last summer. Because I not only had the honor of talking about Descendants of Zombies for the people who love Descendants of Zombies so much, I had the honor of meeting so many incredible people by the thousands who always subscribe to this YouTube channel because they are a fan of Descendants of Zombies. Because I know how it goes. Every single night before you fall asleep and you have probably 15 minutes to yourself after your busy day is over with, you take your phone or your tablet and you're always YouTubing Descendants of Zombies videos. And one of the things I pride myself on, why I'm able to create so many wonderful videos about Descendants of Zombies and inspired by the franchises that you grew up with and you love so much, is because I think about each and every one of you, because I know what it's like to be you, being so excited for the latest episode of your favorite franchise, your episodic TV series that you love so much. For me, growing up, it was always shows like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or Are You Afraid of the Dark, or Goosebumps, or Goof Troop, or Hercules, or Gargoyles. I grew up in a very different generation of Disney shows and Disney movies than what you guys did. I grew up in a generation that I felt very fortunate to grow up in. When I saw the premiere of Aladdin back in 1992, The 101 Dalmatians by 1993-1994, The Nightmare Before Christmas by 1993, Goofy Movie by 1995. So I grew up in a very different generation from Descendants of Zombies. My greatest wish would be to have grown up in a generation that would have been, promoted by Descendants of Zombies and what these franchises were trying to put out there and advertise. Because in all honesty, more people are kinder to each other, more people are the best of friends because of Descendants of Zombies, which makes me wish that I could have grew up in this generation that prides itself on Descendants of Zombies and the passion that has forever and always existed in each and every one of our hearts. The only thing I can say to each and every one of you, for all the love and support that you've shown this YouTube channel, how you've taken a chance on me as the host of this show, is thank you. Thank you so much for having me be your voice of Descendants of Zombies, allowing me the honor of being in each and every one of your lives, talking about Descendants of Zombies in the way of predictions, where I think the franchises are headed in the way of storylines, because there are endless amounts of opportunities to create new storylines with all these new characters finding their way into the franchise. Characters from Alice in Wonderland who we have yet to meet. Characters from Cinderella who have never been a part of this franchise or included. Characters from Aladdin. Characters from Hercules. Characters from The Little Mermaid. There are endless amounts of opportunities for the door to remain more widely open than ever before to see characters come back into the franchise or reprise their roles. Which is why, even though Ruby announced on X at the time that she was parting ways with the franchise moving forward, I think the door has never been left more widely open for Ruby to return to reprise her role because she was my favorite character. I often talk about how the exemplification of kindness was really brought forth and put out there because of Ruby Rose Turner's character, because nobody else could have ever been able to bring this character to life, because Bridget exemplified sweetness and kindness and such a passion unlike anybody else could have ever been able to bring it to life. The way Ruby had it done was because Ruby was able to get it done because Ruby was just a genuinely kind person from the very beginning. She didn't have to rehearse being a kind person. She didn't have to come off as a kind person because Ruby was born into this world as a kind, genuine person on October 16th, 2005. That was the greatest day of my life, knowing that Ruby came into this world. I may not have known who Ruby was or knew Ruby existed on October 16th, 2005, probably because I was playing the latest game of Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation 2 at the time. I hadn't upgraded to PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 wasn't even around when Ruby Rose Turner was born. I think we were still in the PlayStation 2 era. So I might have been playing Grand Theft Auto when Ruby was born. I really don't know. But as the years went on and I got introduced to characters like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner and what they were exemplifying on Disney Channel, I thought this was a cool era to become a fan of, because you had Gabby Dern and the Unsittables, you had Coop and Cammy Ask the World. And the thing was that I noticed about Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner, considering and thinking about the pressure they must have been under, they always had smiles on their faces, and they were so proud of every single moment that they were a part of because of each and every one of you, because you allowed it. So because you allowed it, you became some of the greatest fans in the world and the greatest generation that I ever had the honor of uploading videos about Disney and Nickelodeon for. Because I've had the honor of uploading videos for so many generations, probably generations your parents were a part of. Because I remember being on YouTube back in 2009. I probably was a part of a generation where your parents grew up. They were probably going on dates with your dad, not really knowing where they were going in their lifetime, where they were headed. And they used to probably listen to me on YouTube giving them relationship advice before they would head out on this very first date with your dad that amounted to something far greater than they ever amounted to. It was such an honor for me to, provide commentaries for each and every one of your parents. If your mom was somebody who listened to me, if your dad was somebody who watched me on YouTube. And it's so much more of a greater honor now for me to have come into this new generation and to have met so many wonderful people and to have talked about Descendants of Zombies, which is something I only wish that I could have had the honor to do a lot sooner than when I was given it. Because 10 years ago, if I were uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies 10, 15 years ago, I probably would have 1 million subscribers having been put up on this YouTube channel. I love celebrating festive times of the year with you guys, like Halloween and Christmas, because they mean so much to me. And this year I'll have the honor of spending Christmas with you, which means I'll be here Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. And we will celebrate some of the festive times of the year. I remember that year that the Red Christmas music video premiered from Kylie Cantrell and how it got thousands of views on Vivo. And I was so excited and so honored to talk about it many months later on this YouTube channel. I never felt more honored to talk about the Worlds Collide Tour for each and every one of you, because it became the greatest honor of my life, seeing how passionate you guys were about it, your beautiful outfits that you wore at the Worlds Collide Tour, your glitter signs that you made, the gifts you presented to the stars who you were growing up idolizing. It was so much fun, which is why I really wish the critics would have backed off the Worlds Collide Tour, because I know I saw some of these videos that were uploaded within days of the Worlds Collide Tour that they attended, and they were so disappointed in the merch quality, the ticket prices starting at $200. The thing was, everybody found something negative to say about the Worlds Collide Tour, and I didn't want to be one of those guys to do that. What I wanted to do, even if the ticket prices were $200, I wanted to talk about the Worlds Collide Tour in a way that it meant something to each and every one of your hearts, so that it would eventually touch each and every one of your hearts in some way or somehow. Because if I told you I was a fan of Ruby Rose Turner, I was a fan of Ruby Rose Turner. If I told you I was a fan of Kylie Cantrell, I was a fan of Kylie Cantrell. Because I remembered watching her YouTube YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel premiered 4 years before my YouTube channel did. My YouTube channel premiered in June of 2009, and I was uploading videos in a very different niche that was in a very different category and class of its own. But as the years went on, I realized that my niche that I was providing commentary for, regardless if it was on video games, movies, TV shows, whatever, what have you, I needed to fall into a niche that would forever and always be supportive of what I was trying to promote on my YouTube channel. And lo and behold, many years later, in the years to come, it would be Descendants and Zombies. I didn't even know how it happened. I think it had something to do with girls showing up at my door every year on Halloween saying, "Hey, Jonathan Clarke, what's wrong with you? You are one of the greatest YouTubers of all time, but you need to talk about what we love and what we grew up with. Descendants and Zombies. What's wrong with you, man?" And they would come back the next year after that, still encouraging me to upload videos about Descendants and Zombies. And I think it was something like, "All right, I'll talk about Descendants and Zombies." And then I started uploading videos about Descendants and Zombies, and they were right. Their prediction couldn't be more true or more accurate. People started subscribing to this YouTube channel, and we've been here together ever since. So because we've been here together ever since, it doesn't give me the right to criticize your favorite stars. It doesn't give me the right to tear down the credibility that you work so diligently to build up for your favorite stars. I don't want to be one of these guys that Kylie Contrell is crying because of a YouTube video that I uploaded. I want Kylie Contrell to forever and always have a smile on her face, to be appreciative of the moment that she's a part of with each and every one of you, to enjoy performing for each and every one of you at the Worlds Collide Tour, to make sure that Worlds Collide Tour Leg 2 happens for the people that may have been shut out. But even though you were shut out probably because the ticket prices were too expensive or you couldn't get a seat at the Worlds Collide Tour, Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour is going to happen. And I'm going to tell you guys why Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour is going to happen and why you should believe that Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour is going to happen. It is going to happen because I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it happens, along with ensuring that these legacies of your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars last for forever. Because that's what I've always wanted to go down in history for having been, one of the greatest of all time. So if I'm going to go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time because of you guys, I am going to take every single one of your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars with me, and we are all going to go down in history for being some of the greatest of all time. And you guys are coming with me too, because you guys are the reason why I have a chance of going down in history for being one of the greatest of all time. I know now more apparently than I ever have that I will never go down in history for being a Miley Cyrus fan and supporter. I will never go down in history for being a fan of Wizards of Waverly Place and Alex Russo, Selena Gomez. I will never go down in history for having loved the Jonas Brothers, as crazy as people may have been about the Jonas Brothers 15 years ago. I do know, however, that I will go down in history for the love and support that I have shown for your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars and for how I've gotten behind them over the last decade. Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, who are beautiful in their own right, Kylie Contrell, Ruby Rose Turner, Malia Baker, who are doing a fabulous job carrying on the legacies of your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars. While there may have never been an official moment where the torch was passed from Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson to Kylie and Malia, I think there was an unofficial moment in each and every one of our hearts where the legacy had continued on after a 5-year hiatus was seen for this franchise. And I know what a lot of people were thinking in 2019, on August 2nd, 2019, when Descendants 3 first premiered. They closed the barrier, they believed they told the story and completed it. I know that, critics tried to convince you guys that the story was over, the story had been told and completed, but I was one guy who was adamant over the fact that that story had so much more left to be told and could have still had so much more being told to this very day. I think that Cameron Boyce, God rest his soul, was just an excuse for them to opt out of Descendants 4 or ever having anything to do with it. I say this because so many people were excited about The Rise of Red when it was teased during the Royal Wedding animated special in 2021. They filmed this during the pandemic, which I give them a tremendous amount of credit for. And even under these circumstances they had to film this one under, with the tease of Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella characters seeing their way into the franchise, seeing their introduction into the franchise for the first time ever. We didn't know what to expect. All we knew were there were rumors that Alice in Wonderland characters and Cinderella characters were going to have a greater emphasis and appreciation shown for them for the future, for the foreseeable future of the Descendants franchise. We didn't know what direction this one was headed in. But I'm going to tell you guys something. I was incredibly supportive of it. Because one thing I noticed about the Cinderella story was the relationship between Cinderella and the mice. Because the mice Jacques wanted her to attend the ball and to find her true love, no matter what she had to go through or what sacrifices she had to make to have her dreams become a reality. Because a dream starts with your heart, and a dream is a wish that only your heart can make. So because a dream is a wish that only your heart can make, one should believe in that. And I think that Descendants of Zombies offered us more encouragement that we should believe in our dreams more than we ever had before. And do you think I really wanted to take that away from anybody when I uploaded a video on this YouTube channel? Do you think I wanted to qualify for monetization opportunities or the YouTube partnership program? Because I didn't. I just wanted to show up on YouTube because I love being on YouTube and talk about your favorite franchises, because I do have a special place in my heart reserved for Kylie Control. Because forgive me, I don't think Kylie Control should be crying on YouTube because of how some critic feels about her, or some entertainment news blog website feels about her, because I know she does. Every single day, Kylie Control is crying, unbeknownst to each and every one of us, because of how somebody feels about her on some stupid YouTube video that is uploaded to this platform every single day and night. Because every 24 hours there is a new video surfacing about Descendants of Zombies. It's one thing I notice about this niche, because they're trying to entice you to hit their subscribe button. I don't want you to hit my subscribe button because of me. I want you to hit my subscribe button so I can stay home and be a YouTube creator full time for you guys and talk about Descendants of Zombies into the foreseeable future and for the rest of my life. Because I have no issues talking about Descendants of Zombies for each and every single person who has had these franchises mean so much to them for what feels like forever. Because I love talking about Descendants of Zombies. My favorite song from the Zombie soundtrack was This Is Gonna Be My Year. Because it really set things in motion. It really set life in motion for Zed and Addison. They didn't know they were going to have the best school year ever because they were going to meet and fall in love. But that's what made Descendants and Zombies so unpredictable. Not knowing what was going to happen from one moment to the next. I thought it was the coolest thing ever how they kept the zombies locked up in the basement. I thought it was kind of harsh, but I thought it was kind of really cool. I would have loved to have been one of the security guards, monitoring the area where the zombies were kept and the zombie safe zone. That would have been really cool. It was really cool how they eventually fell in love, how they learned to accept each other regardless of the circumstances and what they may have been going through. I thought Zombies was the most beautiful and most understanding script that Disney had ever brought forth. It was far more understanding and compelling than High School Musical ever was, because I was there for the premiere of High School Musical 3 senior year, and as big of a moment that was in the history of Disney Channel, in the annals of time, I think that Descendants of Zombies created its own magic and its own moments that people never ever forgot. So do we need to really criticize Descendants of Zombies, or should we be giving it more of a chance? I think we should be giving it more of a chance. I might just be a guy who goes to the mall every day and drinks a slush puppy at Booster Juice, really depressed over the fact that the guy who owns Booster Juice's actual name is never Booster, which really kind of upsets me. Or I might spend most of my time at the game store and then come home and jump on this podcast and talk about Descendants of Zombies and tell you guys that I saw this really cool version of Resident Evil or Crash Bandicoot or Spyro the Dragon. But I do it because these stars love that too. Freya Sky loves to play video games. So because Freya Sky loves to play video games, I have no problem talking about my passion for video games that you guys see in the back there. Or my collection of stuffies that she loves too. I love the idea of how Freya Sky loves stuffed animals and playing video games and board games. I would love to have a board game night with your favorite Descendant stars. I would love for each and every one of them to come to my house. I have cordially invited the entire Descendants cast to come here by helicopter, land on the helipad of my roof, and have a slumber party so we can play board games. I say this because I appreciate what they love, what they like, what they appreciate about life, because they see the value and they see the worth in life. There isn't a night that goes by that I wish that Ruby Rose Turner wasn't here to play video games with me, because I know she loves playing them. I don't know how she feels about Call of Duty or Spyro the Dragon or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Batman. Come to think of it, I would love to see Ruby Rose Turner play a video game of Batman, because I think she has a lot of frustration and pent-up aggression for how she's always been turned down for these roles. But the thing is, even in having said that, Ruby Rose Turner would make an awesome Rapunzel for a live-action Tangle. And if she was the live-action Rapunzel for the live-action Tangle, allow me to say this. I would be front and center watching Ruby Rose Turner. I would come out in flying colors representing Ruby Rose Turner and would never be more proud to represent one of my favorite Disney stars of all time. Because I watched Ruby grow up, and I watched Ruby be so appreciative of every single moment that she ever had the honor of being a part of, with each and every one of you, and because of each and every one of you. She knew she was a star, but she knew she was a star because of you and what you offered and what you showed her. Because you guys showed her a tremendous amount of gratitude and respect. And I wish that the same thing could have happened for stars of Hannah Montana and Wizards years ago, but that same amount of respect and that value was never there from Miley and Selena. Because they knew they were superstars, they were guaranteed roles, no matter how people felt about them. But when you think about people like Clarke and Ruby Rose Turner, nobody knew who they were. You know, they had reoccurring roles on shows like Raven's Home, Berserk, eventually Gabby Dern in The Unsittable, which was the first major role that Clarke and ever had, and then eventually High School Musical, the series, which was the coolest name for a Disney Plus series ever, inspired off High School Musical, showing that Disney will never quit on High School Musical and Hannah Montana and how revered those series became. But even with how revered they became, did they have the same response that Descendants and Zombies eventually went on to amount to? I really don't know. I've got my doubts. But everything happened for these Descendants stars because of you guys. Because you guys were incredibly supportive of Descendants and Zombies. This channel would have never happened if not for your love and support, and how you always encourage me to talk about Descendants and Zombies on this channel. Seriously, guys, thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel will forever and always be here because of each and every one of you. And we'll talk more about Ruby Rose Turner and Clarke and Cheryl throughout today. I've got to run out to the mall because, of course, we're just under 2 weeks away from Halloween, and I get really freaked out by Halloween, really scared because it's the spookiest time of year. People are planning to TP my house, and I got to get them before they get me, so I've got to spend a lot of time at the mall preparing myself for the inevitable, my house being TP'd or egged, and you haven't lived until your house gets TP'd by 100 kids. I don't know what it is about this house. People have told me it was haunted for years, and I never believed them, but I do hear a lot of creepy noises here in the nighttime, usually around Halloween, the end of October. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to do that and give me 50,000 likes and 50,000 subscribers, because I would forever appreciate it so I can be a full-time YouTube creator and upload Descendants of Zombies videos for the rest of my life and talk about Ruby and Kylie. That would be so cool, man. If we could spend the rest of our lives together and die Descendants of Zombies fans. You guys are the best fans in the world, man, and don't you ever forget it. Be sure to hit my subscribe, my like button if you haven't already. I will be back with a new podcast later on this afternoon before I make my way out to the mall and prepare myself for the devil being TP'd on Halloween. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Keep Descendants and Zombies forever and always in your hearts, because it has forever and always held a special place in our hearts. That place has been reserved for forever because it's Descendants, Zombies, or die. We love Descendants and Zombies so much because of the passion, the powerful script, the beautiful story, so many reasons to fall in love with Descendants and Zombies. Thank you guys so much for watching the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs. Take care of yourself, guys. We will talk again in just a few hours from now.